there in the Tharaka Nithi County. That was yesterday. So let's have a conversation around that. And I'd like to invite your comments on this conversation. Hashtag Nisente, or my Twitter handle is at Betty M. Kello. So joining me right now in studio is Gabriel Muthuma. He is a political analyst. Let's hear his comments about what has been happening. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Betty.
All right, so let's talk about this NASA's onslaught or stroke offensive, you know, in this Jubilee strongholds. Is it sending a political warning?
Betty, I won't call it really, I won't give it the name that you've just given it.
Okay.
What I would say is that what Raila is trying to do, and NASA in particular, what they are really trying to do is to get some sort of percentage in Meru. However, there are two things suffice. This time around, Raila has a message. And like before, I think he's mastered. I think he's had very good advisors who have advised him the message that he should carry in Meru. Meru, as you all know, has been having an issue, and mainly it's due to the product that comes out of there, which is miraa.
Yeah.
80%, if you look at places like Imenti and Igembe, 80% of the local economy is miraa-driven. So you remember they lost a very huge deal in taking miraa to the UK. And that actually has affected the economy of Meru. Now, the major problem which I feel is that Jubilee has not played their card very well with the people of Meru. They have been complaining ever since. You saw one of the governors went to Somalia and he also blundered.
Yeah.
And I really do not, I won't fight him much on that because he does not have what you would call a foreign policy kind of backing. What he was trying to do is to go and try and assist his people, even though when he went, we got another ban. And you may recall Miraa did not go to Somalia for quite a period of time. So really you're looking at a 1 billion shilling industry that has come to a screeching halt. The people of Meru, what they've been crying and trying to tell the administration is that we are suffering. And we have not found any person who has gone to negotiate this with the UK government. They're actually a forum that you can create where you can have a sitting with the government, the UK government, and the government of Kenya, and iron things out, because this is what I believe. And allow me to just analyze a little bit about this. We have lacked somebody who can go and seriously negotiate about the miraa business. Why am I saying that? It is because we receive so much products from the UK, cigarettes, so to speak. Yeah. These are tobacco product, which we all know, me and you know, it's an ingredient that has been proven world over as causing cancer, lung cancer, and many other opportunistic diseases. We all know that. Miraa really has got nothing that has been able to be penned in it. Everything that we had or anything that we read that was coming from the UK government was allegations. We had a lab result that came the other day. And this was done, I think, by several doctors. And when they brought these back, and people who are involved in, you know, trying to the narcotic kind of situation, they actually brought a report that was even more supportive of the business. So really, we've lacked somebody in government who can push, and let me just say probably the foreign affairs, to push this agenda and make it a #1 core agenda for the people of Meru. Their Jubilee have failed. Now, Raila took that message home. And I am not saying it does not resonate well with the people of Meru. It really does. And for them to just hear him talk about it, he is endearing himself to the people of Meru. Do not forget, Meru, unlike any other region within Central, or within what I would call the Greater Kikuyu, is the only place where you had 2 ODM legislators in the last parliament. That was Imenti and Igembe Central, if I'm not wrong. And that just drove a message. The only thing that takes it away from him now is that he does not have any legislator or a serious contender. On the ground. On the ground. So that really makes the matter a little bit murky for him. But if it's about the message, Betty, he's driving the message home. So
talking about the message and, you know, the fact that, you know, you say that just by the virtue of him talking about it, he's eliciting some kind of emotions in the people in Meru County.
Yes, yes.
So does Jubilee have any reason to worry with this message that Raila is sending out? Because we've seen that in so many places. If you think about Bomet, he talked about ethnic exclusion when in called it just a few days ago, talking about neglect of agriculture. So he seems to be having a message like you're saying. And does this have Jubilee worried?
If I would be in Jubilee, I would not say worried, but I would have major concerns.
Okay.
Isn't
that the same thing?
No, not really.
Right.
I'd have a concern. You know, the worry is whereby you start panicking.
Okay.
A major concern is where you come back to yourself and ask yourself, what needs to be done? Okay. What do we need to do? I don't think there's need or a serious alarm for them to start panicking. Okay. However, they need to sit down and ask with the people in Meru. I'm talking about the leaders, not just the two small brokers that we have. Sit down with the main leaders and find out what can be done seriously to salvage this situation. Why I'm saying this is that Raila knows that he may not get a huge chunk from Meru because, Betty, this is our politics.
Yes.
We are still, and I'm sorry to say this, we're still balkanized in voting on tribal lines. I'm sorry to say this, but that's the truth on the ground. People will still, many people in Meru will still vote for Uhuru Kenyatta, bar none. But what Raila is looking for is a percentage.
Just a small.
If Raila would escape with about 10 to 15% in Meru, Tharaka Nithi, trust me, that one would be a serious dent on Jubilee. So if the Jubilee administration would be listening to this talk now, what I would encourage them to do is go on the ground. If it's the president, send your core people on the ground. Let them listen to the people of Meru and Tharaka Nithi. They really do not want much, but they need their voices heard. And if, sometimes somebody said, people get to listen to whoever comes to the microphone. And the person who has come to the microphone right now is Raila Odinga. He has the message and people are listening to him. Will it translate into votes? It's a catch-22. Because he's really looking like I told you, he's not looking for that huge chunk, just a percentage.
Just a percentage.
And if that would bend towards NASA, I am telling you, it would cause havoc in Jubilee.
But Gabriel, the other thing is that, I mean, the percentage that you're talking about in 2013, Raila was able to get about 32% of the votes back in 2013.
Right.
In the Tharaka Nithi, he was just able to get about 8%.
Exactly.
So he had a percentage, but, you know, it didn't really make a difference.
It wasn't much. Look at the situation, Betty. If Raila was able to garner about 20% of the votes in the Tharaka Nithi, immediately you are starting to read a runoff. Okay. And probably that's what Raila wants. Okay. So I would not say that the message that he's taking to the people of Meru does not have the content. You know, half of the time when he went there, some time back when he went there, and he's gone twice in a very short period of time, the many times that he's gone there, it has been a rhetoric kind of preaching. Right. You know, the politicians' words. But this time, I think he has had people who are giving him the content, or I would call it, he is drumming a very good, message for the people of Meru wherever he goes. The message was actually different. When he went to the Tharaka Nithi, he spoke about something totally different. When he went to Meru, he spoke about the economic status of the county. Okay. So really, he has a message, and that message needs to resound clear to the Jubilee administration, and them to ask themselves, what needs to be done in Meru? Right. What must we go there? What message must we go there and counter? So I think on President Uhuru's plate and the Jubilee administration, they have some work to do in Meru. And the faster they do it, the better it will be for them. All right, so let's talk about, let's look back at 2013. It was, the competition really was largely on personality. Let me qualify that. I mean, you have two people, our sons are being taken to the ICC versus the people who are presumably the ones who are taking them to the ICC. Yes. Right now, you're talking about Raila sending out a message everywhere he's going. Do you think that things will be different right now? Like the way people will vote will be based on the issues that, you know, he is talking about, rather than, you know, the issue to do with ethnic bias largely? 2013, like you've put it eloquently, it was the voting that came were largely based on the ICC. We did not want our sons taken to ICC. And virtue of that, we had to vote to retain them so that they actually can have a strong ground of presenting themselves or presenting their cases. And now it went favorably on their side, that, you know, they were acquitted. Now, having said that, the issue that is being preached today and the message that is being given to the people, it seems, and let's not discount it. You know, politicians have a way of discounting messages. But the reason why you are seeing crowds, and again, let me just point it, when you see crowds,
Yes.
Betty, they really don't translate into votes. That needs to be very clear. You can have a huge, huge crowd, but that will not translate into votes. If I may give you just a case study, is what you saw in Kericho. People had said Deputy Ruto had already lost Kericho to KANU and CCM. But really, when the man took a week off and went to Kericho, nobody would have said that there were campaigns done by KANU and CCM. That is the man himself. When Ruto seriously goes to campaign, things do change. Now, if you come to Meru, I am sure probably they'll go and take the message to counter the offensive, like you put it clearly in Meru. However, this time the message must resound clear with the people of Meru. There is no ICC anymore. So that port may actually be the port may not be boiling.
Boiling, all right.
So you need to take a message that people will understand it. And the people of Meru, like I've told you, they really don't follow what you would call a prescribed notion of suiting. Those people don't understand that. I told you they had 2 ODM legislators. Okay, you didn't have any Jubilee or TNA legislator in Nyanza.
All right.
So that gives you a hint that these people do listen.
Okay.
And so the message must resound very clear and must augur well with the people. If it fails to marinate and Raila gets the percentage that he's looking for, Betty, we have a run.
All right. Thank you so much, Gabriel Muthuma. Thank you so much. We can have this conversation for a long time, but thank you so much for your time.
Asante.
All right. So we've been speaking to Gabriel Muthuma. He is a political analyst just analyzing the visit by NASA in Meru and the Tharaka Nithi over the last 2 days. All right. So remember, we want to hear what you have to say